Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are discuss this rare 4 stars recruitment selection chest. We'll talk about what will be interesting to get if you awaken some, what is not a very good idea. So we discuss one by one. So I made this title list of for me what could be a good idea for low spender, free to play, and also some options for whales. First, let's disclose of each one of them. So the first I think is the ones that I think is good options. That's this one that increase your HP, Milky Way that increase your critical rate, and here is attack speed. So this one is here because I think it's very general armor. So you can raise your HP and you can use it in your alternative heroes also when you're doing another content. So when you choose a weapon, it's totally exclusive for that hero, right? If you could change your weapon for different heroes, they put of course Milky Way here for sure. But since the armor is something universal, so even if you in the future you think can change your hero, or when you level up your heroes, so that's why it's here. Thinking on long term, of course. And the Awaken 3 and 7 are the category that I put for weapons that you already have Awaken. That could be a very good idea to, if you are like Milky Way Awaken 2, please awaken these 3. Because you can unlock more functions, like more accuracy, for example. And the Awaken 7, you unlock more critical damage, and this fits very well. But Awaken 7, I think only whales can have this right now. Awaken 3, some few lucky guys can have it, like low spenders, even free to play maybe. And the same for this. This armor here, I think only if you get Awaken 2 and you get 3, but I think if you have these weapons, I think it's more advantage. And I think from everything, I think this is the worst idea, to be sincere. Because only if you have like a very like Awaken 6 and it's like is your only helmet that's very good. Only this situation, but I think other helmets are very much better. Like a Saintly Cyclet, I think is much. Even the whales on Korean server may not then use that. Because this one is kind of very specific for PvP, I could say. So I think this one will take less damage from familiars. It's not that it's great, you know, even for PvP sometimes can make it good, but I think even this one is better option if you're thinking only PvP. So I think this is not a good idea. I think it's not the best. Even if you think like a good helmet, I think even the better is the Saintly Cyclet, for example. So here is get a little interesting. So if you really play very PvP focus, and I still think that to make a very good use, only if you have Awaken very high. But if you still think that it could be a good idea, these are the equipments that can help you. So as you guys know, Milky Way, increase your critical chance. That's a good one. Chronos. Attack speed, and let's disclose about these equipments here. So Immortal Helmet, so that why is good for PvP, because you stun, knock down, subdue, resist 15% more, but I still think he's worth only if you have a very high Awaken, like Awaken 3, so you can get more resist rate. Because if you think like Saintly Cyclets can do a very good job. Because it gives you only 10%, but it's much easier to get Awaken than, for example. On long term, of course. Even free to play, like you can get a lot of Awaken of it. Even more, I think it's even better than Mystic Helmet. So that's a good option. This one we already talked about. Damage from familiars, nothing crazy. So now the armor. So they have this one. That is Asterite Exclusive, right? So this one I think is very good option. Celestial Armor. I see a lot of whales on Korean server, they use this. And if you can awaken then 3 or 7 is the best. Because you can damage less. And this one, Black Knight Armor, is like crowd control duration. It's like a little less. I would recommend only for PvP situation. And this one is like general. So PvE, PvP can work. And the gloves. I should think Berserker gloves can do a very good job in general. This one is like just for PvE basically. But this one can work well for PvP and PvE. But these ones are quite good for PvP if you have a high Awaken. So skill damage when your HP 80%. So if you are the one that gives the first damage, you can have a very plus damage. But I could say this is better for whales. Only if you have like Awaken 2 to Awaken 3 or 7. Dynasty is like a special skill cooldown. This is very good. That's why I even put here on PvE, because both of them can be very useful in PvE's context. So that's why I put there also Dynasty and the Master Gloves. And Boots is something quite peculiar, because these flash shoes, it increases your movement speed and slow resist rate. It's not many situations this happens to you. I would suggest only if you can get a high Awaken again. And the same for this one. This kind of skill evasion, it can make you survive more. And of course, if you play a lot of PvP, this can be very good. But I still think this one's a good option, Expert Boots. Because it's basically evasion rate. It can work well in most of the situations. But of course, this is Dragon Slayer is very good. But between Dragon Slayer and this one, only choose the one that you have the most Awaken between these two. So that's the PvP focus. So PvE, I think again, Milky Way and the Chronos, they make a lot of difference. More Milky Way because its critical rate is kind of difficult to get, like I explained before. Chronos, you get some attack speed that can help also. Anyhow, these three ones that increase your elemental damage. But I still think that it's better to invest on these two more. Because it can be good for PvP also and PvE. But if you have a like Awaken 3 of this, it can be very good for your deck. Of elemental deck. And this one is kind of good for PvE, but it's not fundamental for PvE. Because it just increases your HP. And 10% don't make a lot of difference. Maybe when you arrive more high content to increase your survivability, but I still think it's better to have more attack. That's why these two gloves are here. So like I said before, in PvE context it's better to beat the monster faster, right? So these Master Gloves, you increase your skill damage when your HP is 80% or higher. Most of the time your HP is 80% or higher. So you can increase your skill damage, that's good. And this one is quite good also, special skill cooldown. So you can kill the monster faster. But I think I only suggest this only if you have a high Awaken or something. And this is something very peculiar that not many people point out this. The Asterite Exclusive, we cannot get them. It's only on the Asterite shop. And how they are focused on like receiving the less damage from players or doing more damage to players like decimation. So that's very peculiar because we got the familiars Asterite Exclusive, but we didn't got the equipments. But they are super whales and there's no other way to get them. The familiars, maybe we have a banner, but not sure. But that's something to point out. They are very good, but it's 100% PvP. And I suggest this only for Megalodon whales that people really wanna do very well in the Lava Valley, for example. It's like Awaken 7 minimum and a lot of investment. So for people that wanna take the game a little more cheaply, I suggest other ways. But there are good options, of course. One suggestion for weapons, because the game itself, the weapons will not change. Only if in the future they put this on the selection, but I don't think so. They wanna make the Asterite shop very exclusive to force people to use that items, to get that items, because they wanna make the Asterite coin stronger, right? So one thing is like there will be more of these selectors, so you can think, maybe I get a Milky Way now, and if from what I calculate, we receive a little like 6 more or 5 more. So we can think, let's get a Milky Way here now, and then a half a year we get another one, and then 300 days I get another one, and then the anniversary I choose this one and I get another one. So I think it can be a strategy, but I still think this is a good option, this one that gives HP, because if you play with other heroes, it can be a good option. But if you already decide I will be always a witch, that's the case here, the equipments we have here. So go for it. So just an example, I show you guys what we got. This anniversary gifts we got on Korean server. I didn't get the 300 days, neither 100 days, half a year. So just you guys have a reference. I already used one to get this one, but this is a reference what we got. We don't have a Milky Way here on Korean server, only decimation one. That's a little different. The decimation here increases the critical rate, so this is kind of Milky Way. So this one we get sometimes like this, familiars and the equipment together, and this one the same. So that's how it works. I save him because I don't have a resource to raise it, so I go in little by little. But for sure I get decimation and chronos here. And these ones I focus on familiars because they're harder to get, and the same for here. So just a reference for you guys how to, that in the future we get more of these selectors. So it can be a good idea that you just focus on one equipment to get at least Awaken 3, because we never know how lucky we are, right? So sometimes we can get more copies of Milky Way on the way, like in the next 3 months. We never know that we can get more of these copies, right? So it depends a lot on how lucky you are and how much money you want to invest. Because once you are awakening more, when you upgrade you can get a chance to buy it, another copy, but only if you're super whale and you really pushing to get more status. And for sure, at least for now on Korean server, weapons didn't change anything, so what's good now, they will stay good. So even with the Awaken class, we still use the old weapons. So I think that's it. That's my suggestions of the weapons and the equipment. I'm planning to take this one, but if I have like Awaken 2 Milky Way, I will get for sure. So I think that's it. Which one you guys are planning to take? What do you guys think about the suggestions? So I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you on the next video.